Hello everyone and welcome again to another video. This time I'll talk briefly about my add-ons since I received multiple requests about them, specifically Srendarr and how to configure it. First of all, you will need to set your profile settings to account-wide, so you don't need to configure this for each character you have. We start off with general settings. Click on unlock to move all aura display windows around and place them the way you like. You can configure every single display window separately to fit your needs by going into aura display settings. You will also notice some display groups already assigned to certain display windows by default. We will go through that in the next step. Next, you will go to General Settings again and to Aura Control Display Groups. Almost all auras in the game that Srendarr is able to track fall under one of these display windows or display groups, and they are pretty much self-explanatory. Your short buffs is all kind of buffs with less than 35 seconds that I apply to myself or receive. For example, power surge, spell power cure, etc. This also includes abilities that are applied to yourself but not as a buff. Instead, it will deal damage to nearby enemies, like Flames of Oblivion, Deadly Cloak, and Boundless Storms. Minor and major buffs are not included in here, as they have their own display groups. Next is your long buffs, which are the buffs with longer than 35 seconds, such as food buff. Major and minor buffs, basically all major and minor buffs we have in the game, like Ward, Resolve, Expedition, etc. Your toggle buffs, basically any toggle ability goes under this group, for example Sork's Bits and Bound Aegis. Your ground target, basically all ground AoE abilities are displayed on this group, like Eruption, Liquid Lightning, and Elemental Blockade. Next is your enchant procs, basically displays an aura for your weapon enchantments when they proc on the enemy, which can be helpful for tanks and healers. Your gear procs, this one displays an aura when I said that you are wearing procs, like Burning Spellweave, Scathing Mage, etc. And even monster sets like Grothdar. Your passives is just your ordinary passive buffs like Inner Light, Mondo Stone, the Worm set, and the Ebon set. Next is your debuffs. This group will display the debuffs that being applied to you by another player or monster. This is usually a negative effect on you. For example, a damage over time effect, the snare effect, getting stunned, resistance debuff on you, etc. Target buffs basically displays what kind of buffs your targeted player or monster have. This allows you to see other players' Mondo Stone, food buff, and any other kind of buffs. Finally, target debuffs. This group displays the debuffs applied to monsters by you, like Major and Minor Fracture or Breach, as well as Minor Magicka Steal, which comes from multiple sources, like Elemental Drain. This also includes damage over time effects applied by you that sticks into a target, or as you would like to call it, single target dots, like Burning Embers, Crippling Grasp, and Daedra Curse. Now you want to set each display group to your preferred display window as shown in the screen. cast bar settings is pretty basic. It displays a bar for your channeled and long cast abilities like puncture sweeps and summoning pets. I don't use this, so I have it set to off. Finally, filter settings. As you can see, we have multiple sections, but only 3 that we care about. In the blacklist section, you can blacklist any aura you don't like, so it will never show on your screen. All you need to do is just enter the name of the aura and press enter. And in case you want to have it back, you can select that on the list and remove it from the blacklist. Next is prominent buffs and the reassignment. This section allows further adjustments to your aura displayed groups. Basically, it moves selected auras from their display group into a preset groups called aura whitelist. We have 2 preset groups. We can use either of those or both of them. This is very useful in some cases if you want to have all your damage abilities in one display window. For example, since Boundless Storm is displayed on short buffs window, while we need it to show on our grand AoE and dots window. Same goes for Flames of Oblivion, Deadly Cloak, Familiar Pet, Pulse Damage, etc. What you need to do is just select the window where you want these auras or abilities to appear. In my case, I want it on or with my ground AoEs and dots window. Prominent debuffs assignment works almost the same, and it has one extra feature. This whitelist group can act like a unique classification of some debuffs that you want to place them in a certain position on your screen, just like the prominent buffs, or you can have it as a way to monitor your group debuffs, as it has an option to show selected debuffs applied by group members by setting this option here to off. As a raid leader, this feature can easily tell you if an important debuff like minor magic seal is being applied by the group or not. Sadly, due to some inconsistency issues, there are some debuffs that not gonna work with this because of wrong classification of that specific aura. A good example for this is the Alkosh resistance debuff called Line Breaker, which is in fact a buff being applied to the target. It still reduces the monster resistances, but it is classified as a buff and therefore it cannot work with this feature. However, there is one way to work around that, which is to monitor your group important debuffs alongside with the target buffs by assigning the debuffs whitelist into the same window as target buffs. And in case you have troubles with identifying the exact aura you need to whitelist or blacklist, like some abilities will show multiple auras with the same name but different effects on them, you can go to the debug section under your general settings and enable the ability ID option. This will show a unique number beside every single aura in the game that you can use to whitelist or blacklist that specific ID. That's everything you need to know about Srendarr and how to configure it in a simple way. You can of course play around with it even more if you want to. Yeah, and I have also uploaded some of my add-on settings ready to use for you. All you need to do is download the file and unzip it. Open each one of the saved variables files and enter your add name on the top. Then copy them into your saved variables folder where your add-ons usually are. Finally, copy the add-ons to your add-ons folder and you should be good to go. And that sums it up. I'm gonna end the video here. If you think it helped, drop a like and see you in the next one.